The Disability Royal Commission is a once-in-a-lifetime opportunity to create meaningful systemic change.
Despite some progress over the last few decades, people with disabilities continue to suffer abuse, neglect and exploitation.
During the Disability Royal Commission, QAI has provided 10 written submissions and given evidence at 3 public hearings.
We have made many recommendations for attitudinal law and policy reform that, if implemented, would better protect people with disability from abuse.
Our recommendations reflect several consistent themes, and in our final submission we summarise those themes and make 7 key calls for systemic change.
Number 1, end the segregation of people with disability.
Students with disabilities should be included in mainstream settings.
The Australian Coalition for Inclusive Education has written a 10-year roadmap that will lead to a fully inclusive education system. This should be implemented as a priority.
Workers with disability need equal wages, and we need a national plan to remove sheltered workshops.
People with disability should not be forced to live together in order to access the supports that they need.
People need access to individualised living options. They need the choice to work out where they want to live, who they want to live with, and with the supports that they need.
Fully implement the guidelines on deinstitutionalisation by the Committee on the Rights of Persons with Disabilities.
Number 2, address prejudicial attitudes and a lack of understanding of the needs of people with disability.
Require disability awareness training for people in all industries.
Our education system and our workplaces need programs where stories are shared of people's lived experience of their disability, so we can build a greater understanding and awareness in our community of their experiences.
Implement a national public education campaign to ensure people with disability are more visible in the community.
And new media standards that require minimum levels of representation in advertising and media content.
And ensure approaches to individual support of people with disability are evidence-based and focus on empowering people with disability. Number 3, involve people with disability in decision-making processes.
Fully implement supported decision-making so that people with disability retain their legal capacity.
This means ensuring people with disabilities have access to the support they need to make decisions in their lives.
Ensure people with disability are involved with all decision-making at the policy level.
This includes people with disability monitoring and co-designing the reforms that will come after the Royal Commission.
Number 4, access essential support.
Increase the amount of the disability support pension and improve the process to access it.
The NDIS is value for money. We need to make sure that it is properly funded into the future.
And introduce changes that are recommended by people with disabilities to ensure participants can access their reasonable and necessary supports.
Number 5, implement stronger safeguards that will protect against abuse.
Ensure greater oversight and safeguards for disability supports provided under the NDIS. For example, strengthen the role and powers under the NDIS Quality and Safeguard Commission.
Ensure blanket consumer law protections to NDIS participants, regardless of what is written in individual NDIS service agreements.
Ensure the government retains its role as the provider of last resort for positive behaviour support plans.
And prevent service providers from providing both support coordination and core supports to individual NDIS participants.
Implement an independent and disability-aware national preventative mechanism under the optional protocol for the Convention Against Torture.
To ensure people in places of detention have their human rights upheld.
Provide a fully funded, independent disability advocacy sector.
Let's introduce a national charter of human rights.
Number 6, address intersectional disadvantage.
ensure responses to disability issues that consider all aspects of a person's identity.
This means being responsive to the needs of First Nations Australians,
people from culturally and linguistically diverse communities, older Australians, and members of the LGBTIQA+ community.
Number 7, introduce a redress scheme.
Introduce a redress scheme that takes a human rights approach and includes reparations as well as court-based remedies.
You can read the detail behind our recommendations in our final submission.
QAI hopes that our recommendations will inform the Disability Royal Commission's final report
and ultimately lead to meaningful systemic change to improve the lives of people with disability in Queensland and Australia and make a better world for us all.